Maybe,
Check 1, 2, 2. It's 0. Hey, 1, 2.
You gotta actually connect to
Check.
the stream. It's gotta connect.
Yeah, I'm using a speaker. I'm using the HDMI with the speaker. Say something.
Check 1, 2. Hey.
Yeah, the stream is not just this stuff.
So,
Let's say it's good.
so hold on a second. Open up another, come down to the.
Wait, that's something.
Quick, I'm not supposed to be sharing everybody, that's everything. It's a, it'll right, no, right click on. Right click on this twice. Right click on the button. So you can open that up in the detail. So it just makes it easier. For us, videos. What do you got? No should be telling. I mean, this full screen.
TV audience.
Not even using this.
Good job.
It's the other side.
Then he said, "Oh, he's in the
Yeah, when you get a longer cable, so you can see, set that.
That's big time. It's been crazy.
I think the adapter cuts in. You have a different adapter? There's the other adapter.
There's a good, the whole camera's this big. Yeah, like telephones.
It's big.
Yeah, now you got telephones.
And make sure we'll get on the wall. Let's see it. It's coming back.
So this is this.
Yeah, it's a cable. Genius did another adapter. Cause I'm wondering why it wasn't coming up. Like, it came up. It just get on this. Yeah, there you go. Play a quick video. Oh, play come on, play this music. Yeah, something. Yeah, okay, you gotta do a Windows thing again.
I have an HDMI over here.
It's the stream, don't worry about it. I'm gonna put the camera on it. No, it's still not getting live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just waiting. I think it's anything else I know. Yeah.
Devontae, try switching the adapters real quick. Switch the adapters. Like putting your adapter or a different adapter. I want to use this splitter.
He's not the biggest hugger. All right. I took the corner.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
You have too much. It's my turn now.
Sorry.
Someone's focused.
Yeah, the adapter's funky. It keeps on cutting in and out when you touch it. So we're trying to use a different one. So I mean, you could do it off of that one TV, but as soon as it wiggles, it cuts out. Yeah.
So we don't have another adapter.
Where's your adapter?
That's what it's right here, but it only has one HDMI. It's just the same. It's just it's just one HDMI.
So what happens if you put the splitter on?
Splitter. I mean, I would put it on. Yeah.
But these one. You saying it's been cut off?
I mean, it should be
I
fine.
need to get started.
Man, let's take the one.
I think we need that.
For what? The video? Yes. Play it.
Just get it.
It's not.
So what's the problem with the other screen? It's the adapters.
Oh, I see.
Too much, too soon.
Spotify, we've made Spotify.
I knew you. Of course I would. Yeah. How would I miss it?
No?
First hand. First language.
We have a different team.
She just.
That's why I say you guys free, because that's what I was thinking free.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Just a different camera.
Oh, okay. Nice. That's so nice.
I mean, I can turn off the TV speaker audio. I can turn off the TV speaker audio.
Yes.
Yeah, should. Probably why it's messing with me.
Oh, very good. Better say that.
And see if the audio connects to the HDMI.
Inside the preferences. Switch it to, on the preferences.
What's that?
First place is.
So I have a control, that's what
So you guys are strict.
when the TV remote.
You ready?
I think so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
And
You make it full screen?
It's a website.
All right, greetings, everyone. Thanks for, yeah,
Ready?
yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, everything, yeah.
I would not.
All right. Well, greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Eugene Dean, and I'm representing the Emperial Group. Today, we are launching our website. Our website and most importantly, things that address the needs of the people of Bermuda. A lot of this information on the website is very pertinent to our current situation. As a result, the launch of this website coincides with our engagement with what is going on politically right now. So first I'll read out a statement that we've prepared, and then I will proceed to guide you through a lot of the information that is currently online. The time for change has arrived. The writ has dropped, and judgment is upon us. The Bermuda general election, February 18, 2025, provides us with an opportunity to take an honest look at the state of our government. This government has built a legacy on broken promises. Promises are comforts to fools, as the saying goes, and for too long, the people of Bermuda have been taken for granted by a leadership that has consistently failed to deliver on their word. These broken promises are not new. They have been the hallmark of the PLP's governance since they first assumed power in 1998. Promises made to our youth and our communities, promises that mobilized a generation to vote for change, were shattered from the outset, leaving a trail of disillusionment and despair. In 1998, the PLP came to power on the back of commitments to uplift and empower Bermuda's youth. Organizations like Dread and Baja, members of the Emperial Group, spearheaded registration drives and rallied young people to the polls. We were motivated by the hope of a better future, driven by the belief that our government would prioritize the needs of our people, especially the next generation. And yet, from the moment they assumed power, the PLP abandoned those promises and cut the legs from under the very groups that made their victory possible. Let's not forget what Bermuda looked like before 1998. Long before the election, grassroots organizations like StarTime and Dread and Baja were building the foundation of Bermuda's community-driven movements. StarTime, established in the 1970s and rooted in the teachings of Marcus Garvey, was much more than about just entertainment. It was a movement for empowerment. Its mission was to uplift Bermuda's culture and unify its people. By the late 1990s, Dread and Bar Productions, a dynamic force within Bermuda's youth, had emerged as a continuation of that legacy. Dread and Bar worked tirelessly to engage young people, providing mentorship, fostering leadership opportunities. And from 1996 to 1998, they spearheaded youth voter registration drives that galvanized a whole new generation to participate in the electoral process. This effort, fueled by a vision for a brighter future, played a pivotal role in the PLP's historic victory. But what happened after that victory? The promises made to these organizations, to the youth of Bermuda, to the people were broken. Instead of supporting these organizations' efforts, the legs were cut from underneath them. The government failed to honor its commitments, and the structures to support our youth were dismantled. Instead of fostering unity and collaboration, the PLP has perpetuated a culture where party loyalty supersedes the needs of the people. MPs are silenced, unable to represent their constituents fully because of rigid party rules and political posturing. Loyalty to the party comes first, leaving the people, those they were elected to serve, dead last. The root of the problem lies in how the PLP came to power. As I said, on the back of community-led efforts, only to abandon the very people that made the success possible. From taking credit for initiatives they did not create, to failing to uphold their commitments to the youth, the PLP's actions have led to a grossly rotten fruit that has tainted our society. And what has been the result? A Bermuda plagued by violence, disillusionment, and division. A Bermuda where the people have been left to fend for themselves, while the government prioritizes power over progress. Rather than dwelling on the past, we are here to build a brighter future. We envision a future where leadership is grounded in accountability, collaboration, and a genuine commitment to serving the people. We envision a future where strength is derived from our unity and the voices of all Bermudians are heard. Mark Bean and Renee Webb and others have spoken about the need for a combined, unified opposition. A united force that challenges the PLP's stronghold and brings meaningful change to Bermuda. This is not just about politics. This is about survival. As the Emperial Group, we stand ready to lead this change, leveraging our decades of experience in community building, youth empowerment, and grassroots advocacy to ensure that the combined opposition presents the people of Bermuda with a credible, viable, and most importantly, unified option at the polls. In stark contrast to the empty promises we've all become accustomed to around election time, we come to the table with a proven track record, delivering solutions that support our people by addressing critical community needs. Some examples are forming Culture Fest and the United Culture Committee in response to growing diversity in the 70s, supporting blue-collar workers in their unprecedented fight for fair wages in 1981, mobilizing the youth to vote in 1998 to bring about historic change, managing Minister Louis Farrakhan's visit in 2009 to bridge social, racial, and religious divides, recognizing the people's call for change in 2012 and contributing to the transition of power. Today, we continue to advocate for the underrepresented while supporting grassroots initiatives that empower young people, preserve culture, and unite communities. Our work speaks for itself. We have been in the trenches, pouring our hearts and souls into Bermuda's communities with or without recognition, because that's what the people deserve. Now we challenge you, the people of Bermuda, to stand with us. Why do we continue to reward failure and punish success? Why do we remain divided when we all agree that unity is strength? The time has come for us to hold our leaders accountable. They serve us, and together we must make that very clear. A vote for unity is a vote for the people. Any individual group that prioritizes their interests over the needs of the people is complicit in the current administration's failures. For decades, we have stood for unity, not as a slogan, but as a way of life. We have consistently delivered results from community development, cultural festivals, youth programs, and social activism. The power lies within us, the people of Bermuda. Together, we can dismantle the culture of broken promises and rebuild a Bermuda that prioritizes justice, equality, and opportunities for us all. This election is our chance to demand better, to choose unity over division, and to create a government that truly serves the people's needs. Give thanks. And now that you know our position, then we will proceed to take you through the website. Our resume, it's a documentation of the work that our members have done over decades. And while the website is currently filled with tons of information, there's still so much more to come. So if we can just scroll down a bit, keep coming down. These are some key elements. Over the years, we've always prioritized youth development, and you can go up a little bit, you can see there's information about the 81 strike. You know, we have examples of many times we've looked to work with the current administration and been denied the opportunity. We've had situations where we were given grants by the OBA administration, and unfortunately we received it at a time when, you know, the administration changed after the election, and immediately upon the PLP coming in and them realizing that we were involved, the grants were revoked and the facilities that we were given access to assist with the programs we had were taken away. So if you come up a bit, no, I'm sorry, the other way. Keep going. Keep scrolling up. So I think everyone's familiar with the Louis Farrakhan visit that happened in 2009. You can keep going up. That was an initiative, a perfect example of when even the members of our team were warning us, please do not bring Minister Farrakhan to Bermuda. It's going to create more of a racial divide. You know, we have enough racial divide already. This was during the time when the Premier Ewart Brown had the big conversation going on that was only making things worse. So we brought Minister Louis Farrakhan here, and not only was he surprised by the way the visit went, but the whole country was pleased that it was a hugely unifying event. We were able to meet with all the gang members in the street. We developed a great rapport. He met with both the UBP at the time and the PLP. And he also met with all the different religious groups. And we worked hard to ensure that that event had legacy. And the Nation of Islam sent people to Bermuda in order to work with our local government to address what was, at that time, just the beginnings of what we saw in terms of gun violence. And their assistance was denied. So you can keep scrolling down now. If you can, I'd like you to just play this video.
I hope tonight in our discourse to share with you from biblical and Quranic prophecy the fact that our young people are really the best generation that we have produced, and they are rejecting leadership and they're disconnected from their preachers, their teachers, their parents, the politicians, and the general leadership of the nations. And this has to be studied, because when your children no longer listen to their parents, and the children no longer listen to their teachers, and the children reject the preaching of their preachers, and refuse to respect their political leaders, then we have to realize that not that there's something wrong with our children, but there may be something wrong with us, that our children are rejecting our leadership. I appeal to you, Bermuda. I'm just your brother, a woman of God. I don't come to you of myself. I come in the name of Him who is upsetting the whole world now, because the end of unjust systems and unjust rulers is at hand. The kingdom of God is at hand. We can make Bermuda a real paradise. We can leave it like it is. Suffer the consequences. The choice is ours. May God bless you and keep you and guide you and protect you.
Those are just the cases that are unsolved. And unfortunately, our whole country had to suffer the consequences of things that we knew very well could have been prevented. If you could scroll down some more, please. Yeah, just a little bit more. There's another video after this. Keep going down. So we all know that the race card has been used traditionally throughout elections. It's actually the only card that has been used for many times, and we have all these conversations about to Bermuda. And again, we talk about unity being strength, but somehow we find ourselves prioritizing division. Well, one of the things that we're looking to do with the launch of this website is bury the grace card for good. And I just would like for you guys to hear this brief statement made by Julian Hall. To play that video, please.
This island was built by not just black people, but by white people too, who have a lot to offer. I don't want to be a part of a black political party. I don't want to be a part of a movement that is based on race. I want to be a part of a movement that is based on ideology. I don't want to be a part of a winning political machine. I want to be a part of a political machine that has beliefs, that has principles, that believes in what it's doing, and that never forgets its core support of working people of Bermuda.
So if you can just scroll back up one more time, which is one more video I'm gonna show you, man. So he was talking about principles, and this is an interesting video because we have a lot of principles or mantras that we talk about all the time, and a lot of that's highlighted in this video. Go ahead.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
So if anybody has any questions, what does vote for unity mean? Well, right now, the situation in Bermuda is very confusing. We have literally gone from one extreme to the other. Years ago, I used to say to people that Bermudians were like cultures when it came to politics. Actually, were leaning back and loungers. That's how unengaged people tended to be. And now, over the years, through the leadership vacuum that's been created, people have slowly started to sit up and stand up. And now we're to the point that people have gotten actively involved. And as a result of the rush to get involved, we've now created another problem that has left the populace confused. Because when you have 3 or 4 options at the polls, what do you do? And if the vast majority of people in the country all agree that we wish to see the current administration removed, then how do you achieve that based on what's happened in the by-elections, where the current administration has received a small fraction of the votes, but still managed to maintain their position as a result of the others looking to oppose them taking votes from each other. Based on that, the reality is that if the combined opposition continues to work in isolation, the current administration will remain. And if the goal is to see the current administration removed, then it's everybody's duty to work together. So the Vote for Unity campaign expressed on our website is to inspire that action and to make it very clear to the general public that there is a pathway to victory and there is a pathway to achieving the type of leadership that the country is literally begging for. People are on their knees, but everyone's confused. So we don't need to be confused anymore. What we need to do is encourage the combined opposition, which is what we will be doing, to work together in a coordinated fashion to make it very simple when people get to the polls. Those who choose to work together and put their interests to the side in favor of the interests of the people are people we support. Those who don't, right, are contributing to keeping the current administration in power. So we have to ask ourselves some very hard questions. What is the goal? We can have all sorts of excuses. I don't like this person. I don't like this organization. Why do we have to work together? What is the goal? You can ask anyone in the street. You can take any town people and do a poll, and the vast majority of people will tell you the exact same thing. You could actually ask any Bermudian what the main problems are, and people will probably give you 3 or 4 of the same 5 issues. We all know what the problem is. The challenge is, where's the solution? And that's what we've come to the table to bring. So then the question becomes, why us? So if you can click on the About the Emperial Group tab and just slowly scroll down. So this is just showing just a glimpse. And we encourage everyone, go to the website, dig deep, pull up information, ask questions, contact us. We're happy to talk about anything that's there, but keep scrolling through. This is just showing, man, you can go a little bit faster than that. Keep going, yeah, just. So from the 70s, keep going. Just keep a nice even flow if you can, yeah. All the way down, Anti-Apartheid Committee, formation of Dread and Baja. This is when Dr. Ura Braun was actually introduced and integrated into the political scene in Bermuda by members of our team. These are some experiences around independence and theme during John Swan's reign. This is a documentary. I encourage everyone to watch this. Most people have no idea how rich Bermuda's musical history was, and how many entertainers we had, and how many groups, and how many people were producing albums and records, and we had entertainers everywhere, not just singers, dancers, limbo, all sorts of things. And most people are at a loss to understand where that decline came from or why that declined. But this is an excellent documentary that was made back in 1997 that explains that history and gives people answers. And from that, we can see clearly the steps we would need to take to reclaim that success. Keep scrolling. This is it's time when Dread and Baja gave the PLP the mantra and supported their efforts by rallying the youth. Keep going. You can keep scrolling through. PLP's Rise to Power. This is a Bonnie Vela concert we did in Clearwater, which was the first live web stream of a concert in the Western Hemisphere. Keep going. Keep scrolling through. True Stick Foundation, another example of programs that have developed out of our camp. This is when the violence started simmering. I remember we were invited to meet with, well, actually we requested to meet with cabinet and to talk about the potential of violence coming. We didn't get any response. And then the St. George's Melee happened. And we got called in to a meeting right after that. And unfortunately, the government didn't listen to our advice. We told them that you cannot legislate your way out of a social problem. And they continued to put stronger legislation in place, which basically broke the chains between the relationship that we were building with them and the hardcore elements of the island, which again is something that you can look more into on the website. One Love concert series that we did in 2006. Keep going through. You know, I think everybody's aware of the role that I've played in Green Rock over the years and fronting a lot of environmental issues on the island. The Maddox Academy for Technology and the Performing Arts, this is a proposal that we brought to the table at a time when, you know, Bermuda's education was just starting to see some form of decline, you know. And unfortunately, that proposal went upon deaf ears after a lot of hard work was put in and a lot of people in the community were inspired. So you can just keep scrolling through. I won't explain everything, but again, I encourage everyone to look at the website, and we encourage people to contact us. We're happy to make ourselves available to have any conversation, do any additional interviews, but I just want to thank everyone for coming out today. Hope you can understand our position, and we encourage the whole communities to support our efforts to consolidate, to combine our position into a unified force that is able to work towards bringing a government that truly serves the people and meets the people's needs.
Questions?
Yes, give thanks.
Thank you. What might you say to those that
understand? We understand the sentiment. It's been very frustrating watching things devolve in the country. And we've developed a history based on a lot of the things we said in our statement, whereas people have been left unrepresented. So that feeling of, what's the point of me voting when I don't see any representation of my needs, And so what I would say is that with the emergence of so many people getting involved, we have an opportunity to deal with people that are prepared to focus on the needs of the community. So this is an opportunity for a new day. It makes no sense to replace the current administration with a different group that does exactly the same thing. And that's what's led to the feeling that people have in the community. It's like, okay, so you got one group, they do it this way. We have another group, they do it that way. But at the end of the day, we lose all the time. Our efforts, as they've always been, are to bring a win for the people. And so anything that we're supporting is in support of people. And as a result of that, we're encouraging people to support us in that endeavor as well.
we have just under 3 weeks from tomorrow to the February 18th. What are you, your organization, going to do to get your message across, to bring unity to, as you stated, the combined opposition?
Well, first, we're expecting that through your involvement, and again, thank you all for being here, that everyone in the combined opposition, as well as the current administration, will see our message and hear our message. And as a result, it will set the stage for us to engage everyone and have to start having some really direct conversations about how we can work together. Hopefully, most people involved are prepared to engage or at least have a conversation about it. But it's a very simple situation. Those who choose to put the interests of the people first and work together are people who we support, and those who choose not to get involved, right, are people that we consider to be directly involved with the problem.
For those that could have just came online, what is the name of the website? How do they get to the website?
But they can get to the website, it's www.emperialgroup.org, and it's EMPERIAL, and then most people spell Imperial, IMP, but I tell people all the time, we deal with the emperor, so it's EMPERIAL group.org.
If given the opportunity to make a presentation to this administration, what might you say? You can say it right now, they'll watch it.
Well, with the current administration, we've always been trying to work with them, and if the premier called right now, then we're happy to assist however we can. Anybody who's looking to do what's in the best interest of the people, we're for it. We've never been partial. We've always been apolitical, and we just want what's in the best interest of the people. So I wish that the current administration would have been prepared or willing to work with us more. And if they have a change in heart and all of a sudden they're willing to, then we're willing to sit with them and see what's the best way we can move forward. already have relationships with party groups. I mean, most of you know I was one of the founding members of the FDM, you know, and I also have a very good relationship with John Swan, which is an interesting case because, you know, generally when you talk about independence, you're not talking about a leader, you know what I mean? But again, I think, you know, I told John that I appreciate his position. You know, he saw a vacuum and people had been very concerned, and that was the way he chose to act. So at the end of the table, when we got around the table with people, is everybody's core interest is what's best for the country, then I think we can have some very fruitful conversations.
Now, you have spoken a lot about, not a lot, but you have spoken about the possibility of people splitting the vote because you have additional parties and independent candidates. Is it, am I correct in assuming that you're going to be endorsing candidates in each of the constituencies to help simplify that process?
Well, we're hoping that the whole country comes on board to endorse candidates so that we can streamline this approach and we don't have cannibalizing happening at the polls. Because again, if the goal is to remove and replace the current administration, we need to be putting our best foot forward in that regard. We've already seen from the by-elections that if you have multiple options in the opposition, that it ends up really being in favor of the current administration.
Now, do you see that as something that's feasible to do? I mean, you have the OBA who said they're going to try and run all the constituencies. You have the FDM who said they're going to try and run in all the constituencies. You have independents who've already put their names in the hat. I mean, how many of them are going to be saying, you know what, never mind?
Well, time will tell. And I agree it's a difficult conversation to have, you know, but again, we have to understand like what the goal is, you know, and that's the thing. You know, again, we can all sit here and we can say we understand what the problem is, but how do we do it? Now, if someone comes up with a better plan that we've put on the table, we're happy to get behind it and support it. But up until this point, we haven't seen one. And if we all agree that working together is in our collective best interest, then that's what we should also be looking to do. You know? So we'll see. Time will tell.
I guess the final question, because you have thrown your name in the ring before, are you intending on running yourself?
All of that is being considered. All of that is being considered, and we'll see how the conversations go. You know, what I can say is we've stepped forward to make this statement, and I'm always ready to serve. And if the best way for me to serve is by running in a constituency, then I'm prepared to do that. But let's see how everything goes before that final decision is made.
And not to name names, but are there any members of the Progressive Labor Party who you might consider supporting as part of this initiative? People who are perhaps with the party, but do stand up for people in their communities?
I think they would have to make that decision themselves. You know, at the moment, you know, the combined opposition is working towards removing the PLP. I feel like most people in the country, and I'm just reiterating the sentiment in the community. This is nothing to do with what I think. It's just about what the community is saying is that they've had enough and they would like for the PLP to move on. So they're looking for how they can be replaced. So everything is possible. Maybe there are some extraordinary circumstances that emerge, but I would figure people from the PLP would have to make it known their dissatisfaction with their own party, you know, in order to seek involvement with what we're doing.
One last question. What's your position? Where do you stand in the whole scheme of things?
Well, I just announced our position.
I'm talking about, are you tired of this administration?
Oh, well, I mean, of course, I'm here. I'm definitely tired of this administration, and you know, my concern is that I'm tired of watching our people suffer. You know, because my heart and soul has been in the community for my entire life. You know, I don't know why I was born this way, but I tend to care about people a lot, and so it really hurts me to see people suffering, especially when I can tell that it's not necessary for it to be that way. That we have options that we've yet to engage, and we have options that are being denied that can bring us benefits. So the PLP, I really thank them for the time. I mean, it's always a huge task to serve, and for anyone who hasn't been in that role, you know what I mean? You don't really know what it's like. it's a huge responsibility. So anybody who steps up to take the responsibility, I take my hat off to them. But in the end, you're responsible for doing the job. And the job is to serve the people. And if the people agree that you're not serving them, then it's time for you to go.
Thank you very much.
All right, so again, thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate it, and feel free to go to the website, imperialgroup.org, Imperial with an E, and ask as many questions as you like. We love questions. We love giving answers. Give thanks.
Yeah, thank you. You came right on time.